We are here at the Learning.com booth here at ISTE. I want to welcome Keith onto the show. Keith, how are you today?
Hi, Jeff. I'm great. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. We are here at ISTE. Talk to us a little bit about what's going on at Learning.com.
Well, the news that we're sharing this week is about our new integration with Google Classroom that we'll be releasing in the fall. Frankly, integration with an LMS isn't that interesting by itself because we've done a lot of that before. Google Classroom, of course, is interesting because they're, it's just massively taken over the education marketplace in the last couple of years. Massive penetration. But more importantly for us, it's really kind of a sign of a change in the way that districts are consuming digital literacy. We're hearing more and more and more from our customers about wanting to bring digital literacy instruction out of the lab and into the classroom and away from being sort of something separate that's taught and part of the core subject area instruction. And those trends are early in their development, but it's something that we're starting to see a lot of.
So talk to us a little bit about what people can expect when they work with Learning.com. How are you helping change the face of education?
Changing the face of education is a tall task, of course, but we think we're doing some important things. We've been providing assessments of students' technology skills for a long time now, for more than a decade. Millions of student results, and what you find when you look at the data is, we have an assessment that's aligned against the ISTE standards. And when you look at the data, less than 25% of kids score as proficient on that assessment. So we think that there are, we all know that there are problems with technology skills in our workforce, but we think that that kids today, because they grow up with a smartphone in their hand, have all the technology skills they need to be successful in life. And in fact, we know, data tells us that that's not true. And we're one of the leading companies at helping to solve that problem in the earliest grades.
So let's take a look at what we can expect here with Learning.com. You guys obviously come focused with a complete solution here. Keyboarding, business applications, online safety, and as you said, computational thinking. Keyboarding is always one of those controversial topics. Should students be learning keyboarding skills, or do they know everything?
No, they absolutely don't know everything, and they absolutely need to learn keyboarding. In fact, it's interesting. I was talking to some investors about a year ago, a bunch of different investors, super smart guys, Silicon Valley, technology investors, visionaries, thinking about the future, and they said, why are we teaching keyboarding? That's going to go away, right? Everything's going to get replaced by voice to text and speech recognition and working with your thumbs. And in fact, you could argue that at least over the medium term, maybe not the long term, maybe 20 years from now this all goes away, but at least over the medium term, there's probably more need for keyboarding than ever. If you think about how much of society is shifting towards needing computer science and computational thinking and coding and building and making, all those things rely on a keyboard for input, right?
Well, when should we start this? Because, I'll be honest, I was just at a conference yesterday where they were saying kindergartners, first graders should be kindergartners and first graders. And I've been to other places where they're saying, put an iPad or put something in those kids' hands early on, get them keyboarding, get those skills going early. When should we be thinking about these skills?
We start thinking about them as early as kindergarten, but you do it in limited stretches. You do it in a slow fashion, and a lot of what kids are doing in kindergarten are doing. You can do it with an iPad. You can do it with just sort of a consumption device. But pretty early, kids need to start to learn how to create and build and make and create things on their own. And you got to have a keyboarding to do that.
And when we're looking at online safety, one of the focuses I've already noticed here at ISTE is digital citizenship, making sure that students are not only safe, but aware of what they're doing and consuming. What's your philosophy on this? Is this something also in kindergarten we need to be discussing?
Yeah, absolutely. But you got to start, again, you can start with these things slowly and build to them. And actually, in fact, that's what Learning.com's curriculum does. We have a curriculum that starts from kindergarten, goes through mostly through 8th grade, and we have specific things that kids are suggested that kids should be learning at each step along the way.
And when a school district works with Learning.com and wants to use the curriculum, what do they get? What are some of the things that arrive in the package?
So it's actually, you mentioned earlier, we call it the 4 pillars. The 4 pillars are keyboarding and computer fundamentals, online safety, digital citizenship, coding and computational thinking, and then business applications, which is spreadsheets and word processing and presentations, all of those things. And in fact, learning.com is we think, as far as we know, we're the only place in the country where you can get all of those 4 things together as an integrated solution. There isn't really a package. It's all delivered through the cloud. But we have tons of teacher support, tons of lesson plans, offline activities that teachers can do in the classroom that all support all of those concepts.
So we talked a little bit about the younger grades, the kindergarten, first grade, when it comes to the keyboarding and the online safety. Let's kind of focus on the older students now, because I had you just mentioned the word spreadsheets. I find that even as a graduate in high school, kids don't know spreadsheets. They don't know formulas. They're not ready. Isn't it true, or spreadsheets is kind of that bridge between K-12 and higher ed?
Yeah,
students need this stuff.
Yeah, they do. And what's interesting is, as I mentioned at the beginning, excuse me, as I mentioned at the beginning, what we're hearing a lot of is from districts is they want to start integrating digital literacy into the core subject area instruction. And in fact, a lot of the standards around the country already include technology skills that need to be demonstrated at different grade levels as part of the core area, the core subject area standards. And so, for example, there are requirements in science where kids are required to display data, in charts and graphs. Okay, you got to know how to use spreadsheets to do that. And a lot of times, teachers are taught to teach science. They're taught to teach reading and math. They're not taught to teach spreadsheets and presentation software. And so we provide a curriculum that allows them to do that. And to allow their kids to learn those skills. It's
those skills that are important, and it's also those skills that are very, very again, going down to the ISTE floor right now, there's so much awareness on these older students, on this brand here. Another thing that's very big this year is, of course, STEM education. What makes the Learning.com curriculum for coding, computational thinking stand out?
A few things. It's we have a great sort of online gamified set of lessons that start in the earliest grades in our foundations course for K through 5 kids. Is all you're learning to code in text. It's not block-based coding. It's text-based coding. Even in the earliest grades, are coding in CoffeeScript. We have a middle school program that's coding. The kids are learning to code in Python. But in addition, there are specific instructions on how to debug your code when you've written it, great lesson plans and offline activities for teachers. We provide, schools all over the country want to be able to provide computational thinking and computer science education to their kids, and they just can't find teachers who know how to teach that. Learning.com actually provides a great set of infrastructure to allow kids to gain experience with this, and the teachers don't have to be intimidated by the subject area. We provide great support for teachers, independent study for the kids, so kids can be learning these things, and the teachers don't have to know it themselves. Mm-hmm. It's a great structure.
So if we take this curriculum of keyboarding, online safety, business applications, coding, and then we decide that we're going to be marrying that with the ease of Google Classroom, it's a fantastic solution that you have.
It is. It's a fantastic solution. That's exactly right.
How do we get a hold of you?
You can find us on the web at www.learning.com. It's pretty simple.
Keith, I want to say thank you so much for your time today, and enjoy the rest of ISTE.
Okay. Thanks, Jeff.